Are you ready to transform your summer into an epic splash-tastic adventure? Say goodbye to wasteful, single-use water balloons and hello to the ultimate in reusable, eco-friendly fun with reusable water balloons. Check out the link in the video description to get yours on Amazon today.
New Zealand suffered a net migration loss of 27,000 people to Australia in 2023, the highest number for a decade. More than 44,500 Kiwis sought to escape the post-pandemic economic downturn, compared with 17,500 Australians heading the other way. While the number of Australians heading to NZ was roughly steady since 2021, the number of Kiwis in the departure lounges is spiking. Not since 2013 have so many NZ citizens sought to make Australia their home. In recent decades, NZ has generally experienced a loss of citizens to Australia each year. The exception was in the early phase of the COVID-19 pandemic, when border settings resulted in a net migration gain with Australia. The gains are attributed to the go-home factor during COVID and favorable NZ living and economic conditions through the pandemic. However, the restoration of business-as-usual border settings and a slumping economy has pushed Kiwis to the exit door. From a net trans-Tasman migration gain of 7,500 in 2020, NZ lost 5,500 citizens in 2021, 14,500 in 2022, and now 17,500 in 2023. New Zealanders are able to live and work in Australia, and vice versa, through specially created visas. Recent Australian policy shifts have sweetened the offer for would-be Kiwi migrants. In 2023, Australia improved the path to citizenship for migrating Kiwis, allowing them to apply after 4 years of residency. Citizenship brings a raft of benefits, including a social security safety net, access to student loans, and to work a range of public service and defence roles set aside only for Australians. Australian employers seeking workers in key industries, including policing and nursing, have also invested in campaigns to lure workers, including sign-on bonuses and covering moving costs. The growing number of Kiwis choosing to up sticks for Australia comes as NZ radically lifts its population through migration from other countries. It has been welcoming more than 10,000 migrants every month since the start of 2023 in a record boom, primarily to fill skill shortages. Migrants from India lead the way, with 51,000 arriving in 2023, along with many from Philippines, 36,000, China, 26,900, and Fiji, 11,100. Kiwis leaving for Australia in 2023 skewed slightly younger and more overseas-born than the general population. More than one-third, 36%, of trans-Tasman migrants were born overseas, 27% of the general population, with 52% than half aged 20 to 39. The record single calendar year brain drain or brain gain for Australia was 2011, when a net 43,000 left, more than 1% of the population. Why a hard-working Kiwi couple decided to ditch New Zealand to live in Australia. New Zealand couple Tim and Eva Mitchell are in the midst of a year-long trip around the world, but the adventurous Kiwi couple say the only thing that made it possible was leaving their homeland to live in Australia. In 2019, the pair followed the path of thousands of Kiwis across the Tasman in search of higher wages and more career opportunities. After only 16 months of living in Melbourne, where Eva, 28, worked as an IVF pharmacist and Tim, 33, worked for the same engineering company that employed him in New Zealand, the pair had saved enough to fund a year traveling overseas. If we stayed in New Zealand, we probably wouldn't be able to travel, we couldn't have saved enough, Eva told Daily Mail Australia from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Everyone is struggling all over the world, but in New Zealand, I think they are lagging behind. Better money for Kiwis who move to Australia. She said by moving to Australia, the pair pulled in 30% higher wages than at home, plus they found there were many other financial advantages, such as tax deductions for job expenses that just didn't exist in New Zealand. In their Make Sense of Travel blog, Eva writes that the couple knew that moving to Australia would mean we would be able to save more money and save money faster than if we stayed in NZ, solely by securing higher-paying jobs. What we didn't realize was the many other ways that living in Australia would present to facilitate our savings goals, starting with having to pay less income tax, she writes. An average Australian full-time salary of $95,000 requires you to pay roughly $21,300 income tax per year. In New Zealand, on the same salary, if you can find a job that pays the equivalent,